You're listening to Strawberry Ink, where true crime gets a bold retelling. I'm your host, Santiago. Today's story takes us back to the late 1960s. A presidential hopeful, a packed ballroom, and a single shot that changed the course of American history. The story of Sirhan Sirhan, the man who killed the brother of a president, John F. Kennedy. This brother was Robert Kennedy, who was governor of California. In June 5th, 1968, Robert Kennedy had just won the California Democratic primary. He had walked through the pantry of the Ambassador Hotel in LA. He was waving to supporters, shaking hands, glowing with possibility. Then moments later, gunshots tore through the celebration. Kennedy collapsed, 5 others were hit. And then Sirhan Sirhan, who was Palestinian and angry about the Israel versus Palestine conflict, Jews versus Muslims, was caught red-handed. He was arrested at the scene with a weapon in hand, detained at the LA County Sheriff's headquarters. Sirhan did not hold back. He said he was enraged at Robert Kennedy's support for Israel. Later that night, he was booked into the LA County Jail. The charges: first-degree murder and 5 counts of felony assault. Kennedy was rushed to the PIH Health Good Samaritan Hospital. Despite hours of surgery and desperate attempts to save him, he succumbed to his injuries and died. He was the only fatality, but the 5 others wounded. Fortunately, they were released from that hospital the following month. Sirhan's first court appearance took place in front of Judge Herbert Walker. This hearing ended in no bond, no mercy. Prosecutor Lane Compton, known as Buck, stepped in. This was not just any prosecutor. Buck was a hardliner, a man on a mission. He immediately began preparing the case for a grand jury, aiming to upgrade Sirhan's charge to capital murder. That would open the door for the death penalty. Meanwhile, Sirhan was assigned to public defender Emil Berman, but not for long. Buck took the case to a LA County Superior Court grand jury. They oversaw what he saw. The charge was upgraded to capital murder. Therefore, Sirhan was now officially eligible for the death penalty. And that is what Buck confirmed. That would be what he would seek. Sirhan dropped his public defender and hired private attorney Grant Cooper. His plea: not guilty to all charges. There was a moment, a quiet shot at mercy. Sirhan's legal team offered a plea. He'd plead guilty in exchange for life in prison, no execution. But the prosecution did not sign into that. They rejected it. And with that, Sirhan geared up for trial, bringing in another private attorney, Lawrence Teeter, to focus solely on one goal: to avoid the gas chamber. Because that is what the state was speculated of having planned if Sirhan got sentenced to death. The trial kicked off in February 1969, and a verdict came down on April 17th that year. The jury of 12 members and 6 alternates found him guilty on all charges. Then the penalty phase kicked off. The jury's recommendation: death. Judge Walker followed it to the letter. Sirhan Sirhan was sentenced to die by gas chamber. No retrials, no modifications. Just one death sentence covering all 6 counts, as everything was merged into the capital murder. Therefore, Sirhan was shipped off to death row at the San Quentin State Prison. He appealed. Twice, the California Supreme Court denied him. Then the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear the case. But just a few years later, a twist. In 1972, the California Supreme Court ruled that the state's death penalty was unconstitutional. That ruling swept across all death row inmates, including Sirhan. Therefore, his sentence was automatically commuted to life in prison. He tried to get groups like the Innocence Project to be on his side, but they declined to help out. In 2023, a petition for clemency reached Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. But Newsom said no. Therefore, Sirhan was denied again. Now, he serves a life sentence without parole at the Richard Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. The story of Sirhan Sirhan is one of co-conviction, both his and the state's. A man whose anger turned into action and whose actions left the nation shattered. Justice in this case was not blind. It stared him down and never looked away. You've been listening to Strawberry Ink. I'm Santiago. Stay sharp, stay curious. And never forget that every case has more beneath the surface. Thank you for listening. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Free Palestine and Jews still matter, the kind ones. I am very excited for Hanukkah coming up. I have already purchased my menorah for this year.